The smoky haze of the detective's office mingled with the metallic tang of blood, creating an unwelcome familiarity for you. It had been days since the meeting with Lily, days that stretched into a maze of false leads and dead ends. You sat hunched over a worn table, the city's drone filling the silence. Across from you, Shania stared out the window, her usual vibrancy dimmed. "Any luck tracking down Jared?" Her voice was tight, betraying the fatigue that had settled in. "Same dead-end streets," you sighed, rubbing a hand down your weary face. "Every lead goes nowhere. It's like he vanished." "This is new territory for me." Shania finally turned, her emerald eyes reflecting the city lights. "This whole world. It's not like my beat. Normally I deal with corporate espionage, not missing persons turned murders." "I know it's tough," you said softly, reaching out to squeeze her hand. "And it's only day 2. I feel like we're walking on eggshells," she replied, her fingers tracing patterns on the table. "I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop." Suddenly, Ronald Stolsky ambled in, his gait a study in contrasts, heavy steps against the creaky floorboards. His face, etched with years of hard living, was illuminated by the glow of his cigar. "What brings you back to the nest, Stolsky?" Shania asked, her tone light despite the cloud of cigar smoke that swirled around them. "Got a lead," he grunted, pulling up a chair. "Heard from one of my informants that Jared was spotted near an abandoned warehouse district. South Side Piers." "The South Side," you murmured, already reaching for your coat. "It's rough country. I haven't been down there in years." "We go," Shania stated, not questioning. She stood, her presence a comforting constant in this shifting landscape. "Yeah, let's go," you added, your voice rough with fatigue. But beneath it, a spark of determination ignited. They had come too far to give up now. The old detective led the way, his knowledge of the city acting as a compass in the darkness. You and Shania followed close behind, navigating the labyrinthine streets that whispered tales of a forgotten era. "Stay close," you murmured to Shania as they ducked into a narrow alley. The air grew colder here, the sounds of the city muffled as if held its breath. The faintest glimmer of light peeked from between 2 rusted shipping containers. "Could be our place," you said softly, your senses alert. As you rounded the corner, the sight that greeted you was both desolate and haunting. An expansive warehouse loomed before you, its windows boarded up, its walls scarred with graffiti. In the dim light, it looked like a gaping wound on the city's skin. "South Side Pier," Shania read aloud, from a faded sign above the door. You ran a hand through your hair, feeling the weight of the investigation pressing down on you. "Where do we start?" "Start with caution," Stolsky rasped, his voice echoing in the vast space. "These places attract all kinds, some good, some real bad." You nodded, drawing a gun as you entered, its weight reassuring in your hand. Shania and Stolsky followed suit, their weapons glinting in the darkness. Inside, the warehouse was a cavernous space filled with shadows and echoes. Dust motes danced in the slivers of light that managed to penetrate the gloom. "There," Stolsky suddenly pointed to a set of stairs leading to a dimly lit upper floor. "Sounds like someone's up there." You crept closer, the sound of hushed voices reaching your ears. Every creak of the floorboard, every sigh of the wind sent shivers down your spine. "Hold up," you whispered, signaling for Shania and Stolsky to halt. From above, the voices grew louder, revealing snippets of a conversation. "They won't find anything," a gruff voice said, followed by nervous laughter. "They never do. They'll give up after a while. We're clean." Your gut clenched. They were close to solving the case. "Clean," scoffed another voice. "Not by a long shot. Not until we finish the job. That girl saw too much." "Don't worry, Jimmy," the first voice reassured. "I took care of that. Nobody saw anything." The casual cruelty of the words struck a chord. "We have to go," you breathed, your eyes gleaming with renewed determination. As you started up the stairs, the smell of stale garbage and mildew hung heavy in the air. Once on the landing, you and the others crept toward the sound of voices, each step a measured movement in the eerie silence. You could hear every heartbeat, every breath echoing around you. The voices grew louder, the light ahead becoming more distinct. Then you peeked around the corner. What you saw made your blood run cold. In the dimly lit room, 3 men stood casually around a metal table. One of them was Jared, his face half in shadow, the other 2 unidentifiable in the dim light. On the table lay a sheet, obscuring whatever lay beneath it. You couldn't shake off the feeling that this was more than just a drug deal gone wrong. These men exuded a chilling confidence, a sense of control that was unsettling. "So you found the sister, huh?" Jared asked, his voice a low growl. "How did she take it?" One of the men beside him chuckled, a sound devoid of humor. "Poor little thing, probably scared out of her wits. How do you think she took it?" "She wants answers," came the reply, "but she won't get any tonight, or ever." A chill ran down your spine. They knew more than they were letting on. But why? And what was their connection to Josephine? Before you could formulate a plan, a sudden commotion erupted from the other side of the warehouse. Footsteps pounded against the concrete floor, accompanied by shouts and the rattle of metal. "What the hell?" Jared snapped, turning to face the disturbance. You seized the opportunity, pushing open the door and bursting into the room. The men were caught off guard. "Police, everyone freeze," you shouted, raising your gun. Jared lunged for the table, trying to shove the sheet under it. "Get away from that," you ordered, taking a step forward. But it was too late. As he slid the sheet out of view, you saw it. A pair of legs, pale and lifeless, crossed at the ankles. You felt your stomach clench. This was no ordinary drug deal. This was cold-blooded murder. Shania and Stolsky fanned out, flanking Jared and the other 2 men, their guns drawn. The warehouse, once filled with shadows and secrets, was now flooded with the harsh glare of police lights. Sirens wailed in the distance, their crescendo echoing the turmoil in your chest. "Step away from the body, Jared," Shania said, her voice ringing with authority. But Jared had already made his move. With a guttural yell, he lunged for you, knocking your gun away. You stumbled backward, adrenaline surging through you. As Jared advanced, you threw a punch connecting with his jaw. He staggered back, momentarily stunned, but he recovered quickly, his eyes blazing with rage. You knew you were outmatched in a hand-to-hand fight. As he closed in, you reached for your holstered gun, praying for a swift resolution. Shania, however, was quicker. She tackled Jared, sending both men crashing to the floor. A struggle ensued, a flurry of limbs and curses. Finally, with a swift kick, Shania managed to land a solid blow to Jared's groin. He gasped, giving her the opening she needed. Shania straddled him, her gun pressed against his temple. "It's over, Jared," she said, her voice dangerously calm. Meanwhile, Stolsky and the backup officers secured the other 2 men. The warehouse, once a symbol of darkness and despair, was slowly being bathed in the light of justice. Despite the victory, a sense of foreboding lingered. The case was far from over. They had brought Jared down, but there were others involved, and as the night deepened, you knew the journey to bring them all to justice was just beginning.